One of the big challenges in collecting trail information and streaming point data is the retention of elevation data. You can see some points that I collected in front of the Marytown Science Complex using this GeoGPS unit. These are marked in orange, but the actual trail is stored in this red line right here. And you notice when I click on this red line, there's literally only one feature right here and no elevation is stored because they're stored within the individual attributes that compose it, where elevation probably isn't restored and it's stored within the file geodatabase as kind of internally. That's external to the actual line itself, the individual feature and feature class in which it's contained. So one of the things that we've wanted to do was retain the individual elevations for each of these points collected or sampled. And then later we can go back and create trails or whatnot using our sampled points, compare these to maybe DEM or DSMs or anything like that. So one of the things which we did was I went and collected these individual points here using streaming data. I've thought of a lot of different ways to do it. This is my method that we've talked about in class and we're talking about in this video. So we can see right here, this is a feature class which contains this geode. I actually compared it to a number of different other GPS collection units here, but I can collect this point right here and you can see it's object ID 61. It's got a speed that I was traveling. You can see the position source name. This is the Juniper Systems Incorporated with a horizontal accuracy, vertical accuracy. Look at this latitude and longitude with the altitude and our various measures, dilutions of position, station ID, number of satellites, the fixed time, creation date, all these other things that are collected about this. So one, that I can make the actual trail itself, but I can compare these points to other points using methods. And in addition, our latitude, longitude, and most importantly in this case here, our altitude is kept. I did this using something called Esri Quick Capture. I looked at a lot of different methods. I surveyed these. So I'm going to talk about the method to collect these points right here. So first thing I did was I went to Quick Capture. You can see the address up there, arcgis.com/apps, quick capture/projects. You can see a number of projects that I've created right here. And we're going to do this from scratch. And then I'm going to continue the video later to highlight this on the phone. I'm going to, under new projects, start from existing layers. So what I'm going to have to do is create a new existing layer. And I'm going to sign into my ArcGIS Online and create an existing data layer and then add it to my project. So under content right here, I'm going to create a brand new feature surface or feature layer right here. And you can see a number of quick projects that I've created. I'm creating this specifically for this video. So I'm going to go to new item and I'm going to create a brand new feature layer and I'm going to define it. And I'm just going to call it Mulrooney Trails XYZ so we can identify it. And it's going to be a point because we want to store these as points and then we can connect the dots later using some data management tools. I definitely want to add the GPS metadata fields so we can look at the information attached to the various dilutions of position and whatnot. I want to also enable Z values. I don't necessarily need to enable the M values, and I'm going to click Next and then click Save. And it's going to create the feature layer. Now, the next thing that I want to do, and you can see it's been loaded right here. You can see the settings that I have. I can go through these settings. If I want to, I can go down to the bottom and I'll allow export here to different data layers, but I can allow people to add, enable editing, and I'm going to click save down here as well. If I want to enable it for different groups as well, I'm going to click on overview. And down to the right here, I can share this with my entire organization so that anyone can edit this as well. So I've set the sharing, I've set the exportability, and then I can change these layers. You can see it's called Mulrooney Trails XYZ. Next, now I'm going to create a new project I'm going to start from existing layers, and now look what I have here. I have a brand new layer that I've created called multitrails.xyz that I can also add to ArcGIS Pro if I wanted to, and I'm going to click on that. Do I want to create a web map containing the selected layers and link to a project? Of course I do. Let's do that. Now I'm going to click Next, and now I'm going to click Create. And now I've got a brand new feature ready to go. So now in my phone, I can connect to my GPS unit using Bluetooth, or I can just use the integrated service provider, the GPS, or more particularly GNSS that's attached to this as well. Now I'm going to click on my new feature right here. This is the rendering of the actual feature, but under data, instead of single point, I'm going to click on streaming points. So when I'm ready to start streaming points, I'm going to click Start. And then when I end, I'm going to click End, just like you saw for that particular map. That's loaded into ArcGIS Pro, but it could also be loaded into ArcGIS Online and inserted into story maps and apps and web experiences or whatnot. So I'm going to click Save here. So I want to make sure we're stored as points, streaming points, and then over here I can set the recommended accuracy. I recommended it for 30 meters, and then I can set the distance threshold. So I can move my mouse over and it says this is the minimum distance traveled for the last captured point or vertex before a new one can be captured. So for my previous project here, I set this to be 5 meters. So these are all 5 meters apart. So I've got about, I don't know, 80, 60, 70, 80 points. So I walked about a quarter mile right here, 300, 350 meters. I forget what exactly it was. So just doing the math right there, we can see we did. I can set this to be 5 meters. So it's going to collect a point every 5 meters that'll have its latitude, longitude, various accuracies, PDOPs, as well as my altitude that I'm also looking to map as well. That's not going to be contained within the point for the line from which it's created. And I'm going to click Save. And project save with warnings here. I'm just going to click Save. And then next what we're going to do is we're going to load these into our phone. So now, once we've created our Quick Capture project, all I can do is go onto my iPhone, click on Quick Capture. You can see all the possible projects that I have loaded up right here. So these are all my projects right here. Down at the bottom, I'm going to click on the plus sign. And I'm going to click on Browse for Projects. And now when I browse for projects, look what I have here. I have the Mulroney Trails .xyz sitting right here for me to upload onto my app right here. It's going to click here and say downloading. And now I've got the project all the way up at the top ready to go. And now look what I have. I have a new feature. It doesn't have attributes attached to those because this is Quick Capture. You can see down at the bottom, it tells me my GPS accuracy. I'm sitting in my office right now, so it's going to be a little bit high. But now, once I click this point and I click this new feature, you can see it's going to start blinking, meaning I'm collecting streaming points as I go. And I'm going to walk out, stop this video for a second, come back and load this into ArcGIS Pro. So I hit the red stop sign to stop streaming. I've gone back into the office and now I'm logged back into ArcGIS Pro, as well as ArcGIS Online. In ArcGIS Online, I can click on Content, and now we can see my content. I've got a web layer that's hosted that I created as part of my Quick Capture project that's also attached to a web map because we specified that. You can see Mulroney Trails XYZ. This is the feature layer we created as part of a web map. I'm going to click on this map. I'm going to click on Open in Map Viewer. And look at these points right here. I'm going to zoom into Durham. And we can see these points right here. This is the trail that I mapped or walked around the Marytown Science Complex. You can see I don't have as many points here because the recommended accuracy was too high. Once I got outside, you can see exactly the trail that I walked right here, and then I went and stopped. I can click the three little buttons right here and click on Show Table. This is my attribute table for the 31 points that were collected. You can see the horizontal accuracy. They all should be relatively low. I got a couple high ones right here, but this was collected using my phone, where my best accuracy is probably going to be about 15 to 20 feet. If I use a geode, one of these juniper systems, we're looking at a lot better, probably sub-meter. But all the accuracy, as well as all the information about the receiver, App Studios, Core Collective that I've collected here as well. If I want to, I can save this project here, save this map. I can start to share these and then insert these into apps such as Experience Builder, Story Maps, or Instant Apps. The last thing that I'll mention is that we'll circle back to ArcGIS Pro. Me personally, I'm a big ArcGIS Pro person just because it has more capabilities and it runs much quicker. But you can see my points collected at some point in time using my Juniper system. I'm going to go to my black plus sign to add data. I'm going to click on Browse. I can go to My Organization, or I'll click on My Content right here. You can see my content right here. Mulrooney Trails XYZ, which was created on 5/9 at 9:39. Here it is. And I'll uncheck these points right here. And now we can see the points that were collected here. So I can click on this particular point here. We can see all the information about that. And if I wanted to, I can open the attribute table. It's having trouble opening the attribute table. But now I can click on these points right here. You can see it's object ID 26. I was walking at that speed, kilometers per hour. The direction of travel was almost due south. It's got a horizontal accuracy, vertical accuracy. It told me what my latitude, longitude, and altitude was. And then later I can go and literally connect the points with these to make some of these aesthetically pleasing products that have computationally powerful points that are built as part of it. So in closing, highlighted how to do quick capture, highlighted how to run quick capture, and then create a feature layer as part of these, and then how to load these into our quick capture app so we can go and collect streaming points.